Most livestock owners are told that feeding animals means buying hay every season, replanting pasture constantly, and watching feed costs drain your budget year after year. But there's a rare perennial plant called comfrey that changes everything. Plant it once, and it feeds your animals for 10 to 20 years with almost zero replanting. It's high in protein, grows fast, and thrives in tough conditions, yet most small farmers have never heard of it. In this video, I'm sharing 5 reasons why comfrey works as a sustainable superfeed, how to get started even on a small property, and why it's quietly transforming how self-sufficient families raise healthy livestock. If you're someone who wants less expense and more independence in how you feed your animals, this channel is for you. I post practical, life-changing homesteading ideas like this every week, and subscribing means you won't have to search for solutions again. This one matters because it solves a quiet problem most livestock owners live with every year, watching feed costs rise while quality drops, without forcing you to buy more land or invest in expensive equipment. The reason comfrey works is simple. This plant is a true perennial that lives 10 to 20 years once established. You're not replanting every season like annual crops. You're not buying baled hay at premium prices. Comfrey produces multiple harvests per year, which means consistent, affordable nutrition for your animals even on tired days. To start, all you need is a small plot of land and healthy comfrey root cuttings or crowns. If you already have space for a garden bed, you're ready. What you're doing is simply planting once in well-drained soil with basic compost. No optimizing, no overthinking. Water it for the first few weeks, then let nature take over. To keep it going, focus on just one thing. Harvest comfrey every 4 to 6 weeks during growing season. That's enough to keep it productive and prevent stems from going woody. Over time, this doesn't just reduce your feed bill. It changes how your farm feels. Less financial stress. More control over what your animals eat. A productive, sustainable system that keeps working year after year. A small thing that makes this easier is mulching around the base of your comfrey plants with straw or wood chips. You don't need it, but it conserves moisture and reduces weeds, which smooths the whole process. The first-year investment in comfrey is minimal compared to what you'll save over decades. A 1,000-square-foot patch can produce enough feed to supplement several goats or sheep throughout the growing season. That same patch keeps producing without replanting, reseeding, or major inputs. The return on investment compounds every single year. Think about what you currently spend on hay annually. Most small livestock owners spend $500 to $1,500 per year on supplemental feed. Over 10 years, that's $5,000 to $15,000. Comfrey eliminates or drastically reduces that ongoing expense after a single planting investment of maybe $50 to $200 in root cuttings. The math is undeniable. Beyond direct savings, you gain price stability. Hay prices fluctuate wildly based on weather, fuel costs, and market conditions. When you grow your own perennial comfrey feed, you're insulated from those market swings. You control your food security. That independence has real financial and emotional value, especially as economic uncertainty increases. For families on fixed incomes or planning for retirement, comfrey represents rare long-term security that gets stronger with time instead of weaker. The plants actually become more productive in years 2 through 5 as root systems mature and expand. You're not just maintaining value, you're building it. This one matters because most cheap feed lacks the minerals and protein that keep animals truly healthy, leading to vet bills, poor growth, and low productivity, and comfrey naturally fixes that without supplements. The reason this works is simple. Comfrey contains 15 to 25% protein on a dry matter basis, plus calcium, potassium, and trace minerals that animals need. It doesn't depend on synthetic fertilizers or commercial feed mixes. Comfrey pulls nutrients deep from the soil with its long taproot, which is why animals thrive on it even during lean seasons. To start, all you need is a basic understanding of how much your animals eat per day. If you know roughly how many pounds they consume, you're ready. What you're doing is simply offering fresh comfrey cuttings alongside their regular feed at first. No force feeding, no sudden diet changes. Let them adjust naturally. To keep it going, focus on just one thing. Harvest comfrey leaves and stems while they're young and tender. That's when nutrient density is highest. Over time, this doesn't just improve their diet, it changes their overall health, shinier coats, better weight gain, stronger immunity, animals that look and act healthier without expensive supplements. A small thing that makes this work better is wilting the comfrey leaves slightly before feeding. You don't need it, but it improves digestibility and reduces any bitterness. The protein content in comfrey rivals alfalfa, which is considered the gold standard for livestock nutrition. But unlike alfalfa, comfrey grows in wider conditions and requires less water. The calcium content supports bone development in young animals and milk production in lactating does or ewes. Potassium aids muscle function and overall vitality. These aren't empty calories. This is dense, bioavailable nutrition that animals instinctively recognize and seek out. Many farmers report their livestock preferring comfrey over other available forage once they're introduced to it. That preference isn't random. Animals have innate nutritional wisdom. When they choose comfrey repeatedly, they're responding to what their bodies need. The trace minerals in comfrey, including iron, magnesium, and zinc, fill gaps that commercial feeds often miss. These micronutrients support everything from reproduction to disease resistance. Healthier animals mean fewer vet visits, lower medication costs, and better productivity, whether you're raising meat, dairy, or fiber animals. The investment in their nutrition pays dividends in reduced health problems and improved performance. For older livestock owners or those planning sustainable retirement homesteads, having a reliable, nutrient-dense feed source like comfrey that doesn't require ongoing purchases represents both financial security and peace of mind. The plant's deep mining of subsoil minerals means nutrients unavailable to shallow-rooted crops become accessible to your animals through comfrey. This one matters because many farmers struggle with poor soil, drought, or limited water, making expensive irrigation or soil amendments feel like the only option, and comfrey thrives anyway. The reason this works is simple. Comfrey respects how challenging environments actually function. It doesn't need perfect soil or constant watering once established. Its deep root system finds moisture other plants miss. Comfrey tolerates poor drainage, partial shade, and even occasional neglect, which is why it's a life-changing choice for marginal land. To start, all you need is a patch of ground that gets at least 4 to 6 hours of sunlight. If you already have that, you're ready. What you're doing is simply planting comfrey in spring or fall when soil is workable. No perfect timing required, no soil testing before you begin. To keep it going, focus on just one thing. Water deeply once a week for the first month, then only during extreme drought. That's enough. Over time, this doesn't just give you feed in tough spots, it transforms unproductive areas into valuable assets, less wasted space, more self-reliance, a forgiving system that keeps producing even when other crops fail. A small thing that boosts success is planting comfrey on contour or slight slopes for better drainage. You don't need perfect terrain, but avoiding standing water prevents root issues. This adaptability makes comfrey ideal for properties that other livestock owners might consider unsuitable for forage production. Clay soil that stays wet in winter, sandy soil that dries out fast in summer, rocky areas where plows can't go, slopes too steep for conventional pasture. Comfrey handles all of it once established. The root system can reach 6 to 10 feet deep in some conditions, accessing water and nutrients far below the surface. That deep rooting also means comfrey survives droughts that kill shallow-rooted annuals. During dry spells, when your regular pasture turns brown, comfrey often stays green and productive. That drought tolerance is increasingly valuable as weather patterns become less predictable across the United States. From the arid southwest to the humid southeast, comfrey adapts to local conditions without requiring imported water or expensive amendments. It also tolerates a wide pH range, thriving in soils from slightly acidic to moderately alkaline. For properties with challenging soil chemistry, this flexibility eliminates the need for lime applications or sulfur treatments. Comfrey actually improves soil over time rather than depleting it. The deep roots break up compacted layers, and when leaves drop, they add organic matter. You're not extracting value from marginal land. You're building it up while harvesting feed. This creates a regenerative cycle that increases property value and productivity year after year without ongoing investment. Comfrey even tolerates light frost and continues growing in cool weather when many other forage plants go dormant. If this is opening your eyes to what's possible with comfrey, give it a like. It tells YouTube to share this with other livestock owners who need affordable, sustainable solutions. And I'm curious, which benefit feels most valuable for your situation right now? The cost savings, the nutrition, or the low maintenance growing? Drop it in the comments. I actually read them, and your answers help me create better content for this community. Hearing what matters most to you helps me focus future videos on solutions that make the biggest difference. This one matters because traditional pasture and hay production demands constant replanting, tilling, and reseeding, stealing time from family and other productive work, and comfrey eliminates most of that cycle. The reason this works is simple. Once established, comfrey returns every year without replanting. You're not fighting weeds in bare soil every spring. You're not buying seed annually. Comfrey grows back from the roots automatically, which means you invest labor once and harvest for decades. To start, all you need is one focused weekend to plant your initial comfrey patch. If you can carve out that time, you're ready. What you're doing is simply spacing comfrey plants 2 to 3 feet apart in rows. No precision required, no complicated layouts. To keep it going, focus on just one thing. Cut back dead comfrey stems in late fall. That's the only annual maintenance it needs. Over time, this doesn't just save labor. It changes how you spend your days. More time for other projects, less physical strain as you age, a system that respects your energy instead of draining it. A small thing that makes this smoother is keeping a dedicated harvest knife or sickle near the comfrey patch. You don't need special tools, but having them ready removes the friction of starting. The labor savings from comfrey compound as you get older. Many livestock owners in their 50s, 60s, and beyond find that maintaining annual crops becomes physically challenging. Tilling, planting, and managing annual pastures requires bending, lifting, and sustained physical effort that gets harder with age. This perennial comfrey system eliminates most of that strain. You plant it once when you have the energy and strength, and it continues producing when your body needs gentler work. The harvest process is simple cutting, which can be done at your own pace without deadlines. Unlike annual crops that must be planted in narrow windows or hay that must be cut before it goes to seed, comfrey offers flexibility. You can harvest when weather cooperates and your schedule allows. That flexibility reduces stress and makes farming more sustainable for aging bodies. The time savings also mean you can pursue other income streams, spend more time with grandchildren, or develop different areas of your property. Many small farmers struggle with time poverty, always racing to keep up with seasonal demands. Comfrey breaks that cycle. The hours you save over a decade add up to months of reclaimed time. Time you can use for health, relationships, or other productive activities that generate income or improve quality of life. For couples planning retirement homesteads or aging in place on rural property, comfrey represents a realistic way to maintain livestock without hiring help or wearing out your body. The system scales to your capacity rather than demanding you scale to its requirements. Comfrey doesn't require machinery, special equipment, or technical knowledge to maintain successfully. This one matters because most farming investments lose value over time, requiring constant replacement and reinvestment. But comfrey becomes a living asset that grows in value and produces for future generations. The reason this works is simple. Perennials like comfrey mature and improve with age. The root system deepens. The plants become more vigorous. Productivity increases over the first few years. It's an investment that compounds, which means you're building long-term security for your family, not just solving today's feed problem. To start, all you need is a commitment to nurturing your comfrey for just one full season. If you can give it that initial care, you're building something rare. What you're doing is simply protecting it from heavy grazing the first year while roots establish. No complicated restrictions. Just let comfrey grow strong before harvesting aggressively. To keep it going, focus on just one thing. Show younger family members how to harvest and propagate comfrey. That's how the knowledge and resource transfer across generations. Over time, this doesn't just feed animals. It becomes part of your family's story, a productive inheritance. Knowledge passed down. security that outlasts you and continues providing for the people you love. A small thing that extends this legacy is dividing mature comfrey plants every 3 to 5 years to expand coverage. You don't need to, but it multiplies your investment without buying more stock. Think about what you're actually leaving behind when you plant comfrey. Most possessions depreciate. Vehicles rust. Buildings need maintenance. Even land can lose value if not managed well. But a thriving perennial comfrey system appreciates. It gets better with age. It increases the productive capacity of your property. If you have children or grandchildren interested in homesteading, farming, or self-sufficient living, you're handing them a proven system that already works. They don't have to figure it out from scratch. They inherit both the physical comfrey plants and the knowledge of how to maintain them. That's rare and valuable. Many older farmers worry about what happens to their land and livestock when they can no longer manage them. Comfrey provides a bridge. It's low maintenance enough that less experienced family members can keep it going. It's productive enough that it supports continued livestock raising without expert-level management. It represents continuity. For families concerned about food security, economic instability, or the rising cost of living, comfrey is tangible wealth that can't be inflated away or confiscated. It's productive land working for your family's benefit across decades. The comfrey plants themselves can be divided and shared with extended family, spreading the security across multiple households. Some of the most valuable inheritances aren't money. They're systems that keep producing, knowledge that keeps working, and assets that keep appreciating. Comfrey is all three combined into one simple, sustainable choice. Here's something most livestock owners miss when starting with comfrey, and it matters more than planting another crop. Instead of trying to maximize yield immediately, focus on soil health in your first year. Add compost, avoid overgrazing, and let the roots establish deeply. That single decision, patience with the foundation, often determines whether your comfrey thrives for 5 years or 20. It's the difference between a temporary solution and a life-changing, sustainable system that transforms your property's value and your family's self-sufficiency. The first year is about root development, not harvest volume. Comfrey plants putting energy into deep roots now will produce exponentially more over their lifetime than plants pushed for immediate production. This is the opposite of how modern agriculture typically works, which prioritizes short-term yield over long-term sustainability. But you're not building a commercial operation, you're building family security. That means playing the long game with comfrey. Add 2 to 4 inches of quality compost before planting. This gives young comfrey plants the nutrients they need without chemical fertilizers. It improves soil structure so roots can penetrate easily. Good soil biology, the beneficial fungi and bacteria in compost, helps comfrey access nutrients and resist disease. That invisible foundation matters more than any visible input. Avoid overgrazing or overharvesting comfrey the first season. Let plants reach full size at least once before cutting them back hard. This establishes energy reserves in the roots that fuel regrowth for years to come. Many farmers lose patience and harvest comfrey too early or too often, weakening plants permanently. Resist that temptation. The waiting pays off exponentially. When you prioritize the foundation for comfrey, you're making a choice that determines the trajectory of your entire system for decades. You don't need to transform your whole farm overnight. You just need one sustainable decision that keeps working long after you plant it. Pick comfrey and try it this season imperfectly. Start small with just a few plants. That's how real food security and independence start. And if you want more practical, rare farming wisdom like this that helps you live more self-sufficiently, subscribe to Zero to Purpose. This channel is for people who want to build productive, healthy lives without burnout, wasted money, or dependence on systems that keep failing us. Thanks for spending this time here. I hope this opens a door you didn't know existed. I'll see you in the next one. The path to sustainable livestock raising doesn't require massive land, huge investment, or expert knowledge. It requires one good decision like planting comfrey, followed by patience and consistency. Everything else flows from choosing wisely once and protecting that choice as it matures into a legacy system your family can depend on.